Hi everyone and welcome back. So in today's video I'm going to share how to get a flawless makeup base using only powder products. This makeup base is going to be amazing for summers, for oily skin. This is an amazing everyday makeup look if you don't want a very heavy base. It's very light, extremely easy to achieve and can be done in a few minutes. Now using everything powder as your base is not as easy as it sounds. It's going to involve a lot of blending. You have to make sure that you have the right tools and the right products. We are going to talk about all of that in this video, so let's get started. The first product that I have here is a sunscreen. All the products that I have here are from the affordable and mid-range category, nothing high-end. The sunscreen that I like using for this look is the Nivea Sun Shine Control Instant Mattifying Sunscreen. This is a new launch in India. This product was sent to me by Nykaa. This video is not sponsored in any way. I really like this sunscreen. First of all, it's so smooth. I love the texture. It's a very lightweight sunscreen, zero white cast. It also has a slight cooling effect on my skin. The thing is, you need to apply it and leave at least for a couple of minutes before moving on to primer. You need to give it some time to set on your skin and become matte. Now on my combination skin, what I noticed was that this is not 100% matte. It still has some shine, but it's very lightweight and has zero white cast. So yeah, if you have combination or oily skin, this is a good sunscreen. But if you have dry skin, you can use something a bit more dewy, a bit more glowy, a bit more hydrating, because you're going to apply powders on top, so that way the end result is more natural. I sweat in my T-zone a lot, so I like using this sunscreen under my makeup. Next, let's talk about primer. Now I'll highly recommend a primer that's gripping in nature, that has a sticky kind of finish. This one from e.l.f., I've talked about this several times. It's my favorite primer. Under a full powder base, you want something that's lightweight, hydrating and gripping. Gripping so that it holds all the powder in place, especially your powder foundation. Hydrating because you're going to apply a lot of layers of powder, so you want your skin to be hydrated underneath and the finish of the makeup look to be natural. And lightweight because I feel all the primers should be lightweight. You don't want a really heavy moisturizing primer until and unless you have very dry skin. So this is a really good primer that checks all the three boxes. Especially the gripping power of this primer is mind-blowing. It holds your makeup in place, it prevents it from creasing, and a little bit of glow that this gives also makes everything look more natural. So in my opinion, this is the best primer you can use under powder foundation. Next, this is a completely optional step, but before moving to the powder foundation, I like using a lip and cheek tint. Now I don't apply it on my lips, but I do apply it on my cheeks because this gives me the pigmentation that I want and I don't have to apply layers and layers of powder blush on top of the powder foundation. So for today's video, I used the Kiro lip and cheek tint. Now you can use any liquid blush or any cream blush, anything that you like. You can also use a cheek stain if you want your blush to be super long lasting. So next are powder foundations. My favorite is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in powder. Now this is such an amazing product for oily skin, for normal skin, for combination skin. It has got medium to full buildable coverage, but the shade range is horrible. Especially the shades that they launched in India. Oh my god. Don't even get me started. There are just 6 shades, whereas in the US they have 20 shades. Even in those 6 shades, the darker shades are all straight up orange. The shade that I have is a really good match for me, but get this. This is Golden Beige 150. It's supposed to be something for lighter skin tones. Well, it's not. This is a really good shade match for me. It has got an amazing warm olive kind of undertone, but they really need to fix their shade range. It's a mess. Moving to the application of this foundation, I will recommend that you don't use the sponge that you get with this sponge. It's gonna destroy your whole look. One way that you definitely should not use it is take the product and swipe it on your face. That's not how you use this foundation if you don't want it to look patchy. If you swipe it on your face directly, it's going to be really patchy. Trust me, I've tried it and it didn't work. I will highly recommend that you work in light layers and use a dense brush. My favorite brush for using this foundation is going to be this one from Ruby's Organics. I'm going to link it in the description. This side of the brush is amazing for applying this foundation. So what I do is I just lightly press the brush on the foundation and just make sure that there is not a lot of product on your brush, and then you want to apply it very gently on your face. Don't put a lot of pressure, otherwise you will deposit a lot of product in just one place, again making it patchy. So just lightly press it on your skin And that's how I like applying this foundation. This has got medium to full buildable coverage. You can get full coverage in one go as well, but I'll highly recommend that you work in light layers. So I like applying 1 or 2 layers all over my face. And then for my under eyes, I will use a more dense and smaller brush. So something like this from Cuffs and Lashes. This is the Cuffs and Lashes E009 brush. You can also use the PAK 218, but this I feel is more focused, so the application is easier. So again, with this brush, I'll pick up the powder and focus it on my under eyes. Especially in the inner corner, this powder really brightens up my inner corner when I build it up in that area, and then I will also cover my pigmentation with it. Now, if you want something in the high-end category, just go for the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation. It is amazing, it looks more natural than the L'Oreal Infallible, and they have a really good shade range. I think there are 29 or 30 shades available. My shade in this is NC41. Also, I've seen that the L'Oreal Infallible does oxidize just a little bit, but this one doesn't oxidize. Still, I feel that this is an unbeatable product in its price range. The MAC Powder Foundation has also got up to medium coverage. Definitely Infallible has got more coverage, but MAC actually looks more natural on my skin. I only trust these two when it comes to powder foundations. If you know of any more powder foundations that are good, you can mention them in the comments. I'd love to try them. The next product is a powder bronzer. It can also be a powder contour. What's important is the shade. When your whole face is matte, you definitely need a little bit of dimension. When choosing a powder contour or a powder bronzer, you have to keep a few things in mind. Number one, choose a product that's not pigment packed. It shouldn't be very pigmented, very difficult to blend. And number two, get a shade that's 1 or 2 shades darker than your skin tone at most. You don't want a very dark shade. When you use a shade like this, it's going to look more natural, and this is perfect for an everyday look. The bronzer that I have here is the Rimmel Natural Bronzer, and I use the shade Sunset. I like applying this with an angled brush. This is the PRAUSH P02. You can use any fluffy angled brush for this bronzer. This looks very natural on my skin, gives me a very soft definition, and I really like that finish. Like any other product, I like building it up very slowly, so let me just swatch it. What I will not use for this kind of look is a bronzer like this. Let me swatch this as well. It's super duper pigmented, so there are more chances of it getting patchy. You can see. Not that I don't like this product, but I will just not use it for this particular look. So this is basically what you have to keep in mind while choosing a contour or a powder bronzer for this look. Then we have the powder blush. This one from Swiss Beauty is my favorite. It's the Swiss Beauty powder blush in 03 Glaze Bronzing. This has got a very nice pearly finish. Again, something that's not very pigmented. The same goes for blush as well. Can see. And I just love this shade for my skin tone. It's a neutral pink kind of shade for medium to deep skin tones. This is another product that you want to build slowly. I use the Rufa Beauty RB22 brush for applying this on my face. What I have seen is that powder blushes are generally not as long lasting as cheek tints, liquid blushes or cream blushes. That's why I like applying a cheek tint or a liquid or a cream blush under my powder foundation. And if you don't like blushes a lot, you can just apply a powder blush or just skip it altogether. So let's move to the final product, which is a powder highlighter. Now at this point, if you feel like your face is looking too matte or dull, because of all the powder products, you can just use a setting spray. But for me, as you can see in this video, my skin looks very natural. It looks like I have used liquid and cream products, but I haven't. So with a look like this, if you do it properly, you get the longevity and the finish is also natural. For my powder highlighter, I have the PAK Killer Glow highlighter. This one is in the shade Raw Silk. I already have some glow from the blush, so this is kind of an optional step for me personally. But I love this powder highlighter. You can start with a very soft glow and build it up to a blinding look. This whole powder base has become my favorite for summers. It looks amazing, feels very lightweight, feels like nothing on your skin. Let me know what you think of this look. Let me know if you've tried something like this before. That's it for the video. I really hope that you find it helpful. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.